Hello. Hey Chuck, how's it going today?
It's good. How you doing, Brian?
I'm doing pretty good. My favorite part about starting a live stream right now is that countdown, which is just stock for the software that we use, but
hmm
no one can see it. But I get to rock out to it. I don't know what, but it kind of like it jazzes me up a little bit. It's kind of smooth, but kind of got a beat to it. I don't know. It's good
I
stuff.
love it. Yeah, no, it's definitely it's a good kind of jazzy concept. You probably have you gotten into New Year's countdowns yet with your family?
Not really. I mean, I've got a youngin, so like
Yeah, so
midnight's
not
not a
cool.
thing for him. But
So that's the deal. That's the thing. And I know we're already off to a tangent. We're starting
yes,
on a tangent, which is awesome. But so my kids are old enough now that they're excited about the concept of New Year's. They understand it, but are too young to stay up till midnight.
yep.
You can go on YouTube and get a New Year's countdown
Ooh,
timer that you can play anytime you want.
interesting.
And so last year, or maybe it was 2 years ago, it's all blurs together at this
Yeah,
point. But um, about 7 o'clock, we had their friends over, and we all set up the countdown timer, and we did a 7 o'clock countdown to New Year's, and then we did everything,
nice.
and they were none the wiser. They thought it was great. They thought it was in the new year. So
Yep. So
something to think
there
about.
there was a not to like parent nerd out for a second, but we're parents, and so that I think that's acceptable. But
Mhm.
we get High Five, the highlights magazine that's like
Oh
one
yeah.
step below regular highlights. And
Mhm.
last year they had an article that was Happy Noon Year. And they were at the park and they had the countdown for noon. And they're like, we know it's not the new year yet, but we get to celebrate with our friends. And I thought that was a cute idea.
New
But
year.
my son this morning actually said, like he looked at the date and he's like, it's only 16 more days until 2022. I'm like, yeah, yeah, it is. And it's only a few more days before you're out of school until next year. He's like, what?
Right.
Yeah.
Right, right. And only a few more days to get submissions in on the coding contest as well, right?
Ooh, Chuck, I love that segue. That is a
Yeah.
beautiful segue.
Yeah,
That's
man.
the best segue we've done, I think.
We're getting better every week
Although
in
I've
this.
left the going live in a few minutes ticker up, but that's down.
I think all of this just goes to show that dates are hard.
Dates are hard, and we're going to talk about that a little bit today. Another amazing segue. So here is our lovely coding challenge, put together by some lovely folks here at Algolia, Chuck included. I was around and I read some things, but definitely didn't get the chance to. Well, didn't need to get involved, and it was great. I was like, oh, I'm going to be able to do these live and have only a little clue about what's going on. So yeah, it's you're helping Santa. For those that aren't familiar, there are 5 challenges that you can go through that each kind of showcase a little bit around how to do things with Algolia, with the APIs, with instant search, with the front end, all around helping Santa find gifts or wine, as we covered last week. We did challenge number 3, or concert tickets, or all sorts of stuff using some of our sample data sets that are available in our GitHub organization. Is that a good rundown, Chuck? What am I missing?
No, I think that's exactly right. There's a series of sort of narrative challenges, and then there's a series of bonus challenges that kind of let you reuse the things that you've built to answer another question. So it's kind of fun.
Yeah. So last week we did challenge number 3, and if you missed that and you're going through the challenges and you want to get a free answer basically and follow along, go check out the YouTube channel. If you're already watching us live on YouTube, you can check that out or hit up the YouTube channel at a later time as well, and you can watch that, follow along, and you'll have an answer to challenge number 3. Now, we're not going to do a full-fledged challenge today. We're going to do one of the bonuses
hmm
for challenge number 5. And now, why might somebody want to do a bonus challenge here, Chuck?
Well, the premise here is we're looking for folks to solve 5 challenges to be eligible for the prize, which is a new phone of your flavor of choice, iPhone or Samsung. Um, and because the core questions, the narrative questions are interlocking, you're going to find that some of them rely on the answers to others. So if you don't know what year the movie from, I think, question 2 came out, you're going to have a hard time figuring out which wine it is in question 3. And we don't want you to get stuck. So there's an opportunity here to kind of continue on and use the bonus questions, which are not interconnected.
Yeah.
but are still challenging and still sort of require using the same data sources.
Yeah. Though, spoiler alert, as we found out last week when we did challenge number 3, if you set it up correctly, you actually don't even need the year. You'll find the answer just kind of on its own, but you
Mm.
have to. There's some critical thinking that goes into that one. But yeah, they are interlocking, so the bonus questions are helpful to unstick you if you are stuck.
Yep.
So let's say you're stuck and you want to get one bonus done so that you can move on with your life and be entered for a chance to win an iPhone or a Samsung S21. We're going to walk you through doing challenge 5 bonus question, which is utilizing our concert data set, which I'm going to go ahead and pull up here, which is too big for the free plan. So we're going to actually
Hmm.
utilize there's actually a data set that you can use that we host with these credentials. And we're actually going to use that today, set up a front end with instant search, probably React, and find out the answer to the question, what was the last city where the band Coldplay performed? So we have a couple challenges ahead I'm already feeling a little fluttery about, because we have to deal with date time.
Hmm.
And boy, oh boy, is that my favorite thing to deal with. I hope you can feel the sarcasm. But
it
since
took
I'm a yeah,
it took a lot of convincing to Brian to do this one live today. I'll say that. That's for sure.
because like who yeah, so all date times in Algolia are stored in epic time,
Epics,
right?
yeah.
Milt, was it second since the epic? I don't even know.
Yeah, second since I think the Unix epic, right? There's which is that arbitrary time that was
Is it
selected. I
like
think it's sometime in
1970?
1972 or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, who
I should
knows?
know,
I
but
I feel
yes,
like I should know, but I shouldn't know. I really shouldn't.
right. But the important thing is, obviously, Algolia is all about speed, and getting those rankings and those responses back quickly. And so, by storing all dates and epoch seconds, it makes it very easy to sort and choose ascending orders and find things that are close to each other. All of those things, obviously, all the reasons that epoch seconds were invented in the first place. It makes it very easy for computers to think about dates, but not so easy for humans.
No, not at all. And we're probably gonna run into that, and we're gonna have some
Mhm.
fun around it, and hopefully figure out the way things need to be done. But we need so like looking at this, we're gonna need this data set, which is helpfully provided in the
Mhm.
challenge. I'm gonna plug these into a create instant search app that we're gonna create live. We're gonna need to facet on city, maybe, although maybe not. And then also facet on year. And that faceting on year is going to be the interesting
Mhm.
challenge that we'll have to get through here. So yeah, so let's dive in and let's run a command real fast. You can look at all the things I've been doing. Um,
Dev, 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 dev.
Yep. So let's go ahead and run npx create instant search app, and it's going to walk us through setting up a front end for really any Algolia data set. So yes, we do want to install that. That's fine.
I was actually just recommending this to someone on Stack Overflow this morning. They were trying to set up a React Native application from scratch that used Algolia, and they were having some challenges around getting the libraries in the right place and making sure they had everything. And so I told them that they could use the Create Instant Search app to build like a foundational React Native with Algolia already injected into it.
Yep, and it's really helpful to you can see all the pieces kind of connected.
Hmm.
Like in general, I'm probably not going to spin up my like one of my personal apps using this at any given time, but I go back to it and say, all right, well, how did we set this up when we were talking best practices? And I get to see the Algolia devs perspective on best practices around using the APIs, using instant search and all that, which is, I think, super handy.
Yeah, one of the things I didn't know about the React Native is, we have the instant search library, which is sort of our pre-baked widgets that you can kind of take and insert into your website. They've got the React flavor of that, a
Yep.
couple of other flavors. For React Native, you can't actually use our widgets.
Mhm.
So you have to use connectors and some custom widgets essentially to sort of stitch it together. So having that already pre-baked and seeing how all those pieces fit together, incredibly useful there. So
Absolutely. Now, we're not going to do React Native this time around
nope,
because
nope.
I got very little around it.
Yep,
We're going to use
that's
React
reasonable.
Web,
Yeah.
React Instant Search here, and we'll get the latest stable version. And then we get to choose our application ID. In this case, we actually do want latency. As you can see, we've got an app ID of latency, which is what we call our default testing app that we allow
Mhm.
people to use. And then we need our search API key. This is search only, so it's actually fairly safe to put out there. That in, and then our index name. Again, it's just an effort in copy and paste. Now
Yeah,
the
and that's
downside. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say that's all also in the README for the data set as well. All these data sets, for those that weren't here last week, we actually have a GitHub repo, github.com/algolia/datasets, where all of these data sets live. You can pull them down. There are hosted versions of most of them. You're going to, if you're doing all of these coding challenges, you're going to be doing a mix and match. Because for this one, it's awesome. It's a large data set. You don't want to host it yourself. We'll host it for you.
Mhm.
The downside is that you don't have control over manipulating which attributes are searchable. All of those parameters, all that configuration lives with the index in on our side of the fence.
Yep.
So for some of the challenges, you're going to have to host your own just because it requires you to figure out that faceting and things like that. For these hosted ones, I've already checked. Pretty sure that they're already faceted appropriately. That we'll be able to do what we need to do here.
Yep. Now you can go in and you can actually copy and paste the data sets like in from a
Mhm.
file into a new Algolia index. We also 3 weeks ago now, I think, we did an episode of Dev Chat working with these data sets, and we wrote a node ingest script.
Mhm.
It's rough around the edges. It's not published anywhere because it's pretty rough around the edges, but you can go back and you can follow along with that if you want to basically have a quick node script that you can just run and get any of these into an index, which is handy for situations like this.
Yep, yep. And our goal here, the reason that we're using the hosted version is we want all these challenges to stay within our free tier. And our free tier comes with 10,000 free, uh, it's 10,000 unit, no, 10,000 records. It's a single unit, which is 10,000 records. So if you have more than 10,000 records, you come out of the free tier, and we want to keep you in the free tier for this one.
Yep.
So
No need. And we figured out like coupons and stuff like that. But again, all that's complications, and we don't want complications in a holiday themed joy to the world type contest.
right, right.
Um, So yeah, so I've run through a few steps here. We selected React Instant Search. We told it our app ID, our API key, and our index name. And then we can choose some attributes to display. I'm going to do it right this time because last time I just hit enter and I did not select. It is space to select multiple. I'm going to go ahead and
Mm.
select multiple there. And then let's see. What are we on now? I can't read this because my
This is which
code
widgets
here.
we want to include.
Let's just get the kitchen sink, right?
Okay.
Who knows? Let's see what we get.
So
Um,
So what that's doing is, as we were mentioning earlier, there's sort of pre-built widgets within the instant search library. And this is selecting which ones we want integrated into our application from the default.
although now that I'm thinking about it, I'm wondering if this will short circuit our narrative that we were planning on talking about today. But we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll
I'm,
see.
I'm really curious to see because yeah. Because of the way dates
Exactly.
work, I'm really curious to see what we get there.
Because there's
That's
some.
like
We won't spoil anything for later unless the code base spoils it for later. In which case, we'll just talk through it.
right.
Haha. All right. So we're going to CD into concerts, which it tells us to do. We're going to run yarn start, and we should have a. Oh, ha. All
Ooh,
right. Yeah, sure. Run on another port. I have this
life
up
life
somewhere
in
else right now.
Devrel.
Exactly. Um,
So many
let's
local
see.
apps running.
Of 3000, which is going to be our default, it's going to run 3001.
Now I want to know
And we
what you're
should
running on
have,
3000.
I believe, to be honest, it's this. It's
Oh, okay, got
another
it.
another version of
Version of
this.
this. Oh, from yeah.
Um, Probably, yeah, probably because who closes Windows, right?
No.
All right, so we have that, and actually, I wasn't thinking, and we probably need this open in a code window as well. So we're going to open that up. Should
Cool.
should run it from VS Codes, but now we have it running in multiple places, so we'll be okay. So yeah, we have something that's searchable. We don't have any facets right now,
Which is
but we do
interesting.
have. Well, we'll see. We'll see what the code
Yeah.
says because the
Yeah.
code might have some other issues with it as well.
Mm.
So we've got name and we've got a location in here. So we could look up Coldplay, and there are what's that 9 Coldplay concerts, but
Mhm.
we also need the date.
Mhm.
So what we could do is display the date on these. Let's see. So we're going to go into our, do we want app? Yeah, our app.js, and we have all of the boilerplate for a React instant search, which, we've got stuff like the actual instant search component, which is how we're going to initialize things, a hits component, a search box component, a configure component. There's a whole bunch of stuff here you can kind of dive into. But we come down to app and we can actually see what's rendering on the page. Here's our H1 using React Instant Search. And then we get down here, and here's where the meat of things live. We have our Instant Search component. It has an initialized search client, which we initialize right here. Search client, latency, and the
Search
index,
only?
or the search API key there, which we gave the CLI, and it automatically populated for us here. And then down here in the instant search, we've got that search client. And then we also have the index name, again, that we populated from the CLI. And then we're looking at some configuration, getting all the facets, and getting max number of per facet. So 20 per facet, we can change that. And then let's see, we are theoretically getting refinement lists, but I think what we ran into last time was the experimental dynamic widgets is probably not what we want. So we'll grab both of these refinement lists that are helpfully populated for us and bring it out of that experimental, and we'll see what happens. There we go. So
cool.
Here are our dates.
There's our dates. Great.
Super
we're done.
helpful. I love it. I love those dates. And then also those locations, all faceted. And you can see there's, what's the actual question say? The
last city that Coldplay played in 2018.
So what we need is actually not this date widget, which is just the specific days, I think, if I'm interpreting this correctly, right? Probably days at midnight for like standard date time. I don't know. But we need the years, and then maybe even the months. But yeah, something along those lines.
Yeah, I mean, what we kind of need is a range, right? And maybe what we need to know is what the epic is at the beginning of 2018 and the end of 2018, or whatever year, right?
So we've got the configuration. I'm just kind of going through again, and we also have our hits component. Let's go ahead and modify our hits also to, we have the location, but maybe let's also have the date added in here.
Good call.
Again, this is going to be ugly, but let's get, let's see, props, hit, date. Just display that in there. Now we could go and find a JavaScript library to convert that. In fact, I think I can do new date. JS new date from Epic. Let's see. Just Stack Overflow, hold my answer. Okay, that seems semi-reasonable. All right, so what we're going to do is outside of the JSX, we'll set const date human date equals new date. I don't think that's going to work, but I'm going to take a hint from GitHub Copilot. Yeah, see what happens with that. Hey,
looking
thank
good.
you, GitHub Copilot. Well done.
Yeah. Cool. Now we got some dates.
Yep. And theoretically, we could also set up a component for a refinement list for each of the filters and do that. But that's, we actually need to kind of see a bigger range. So we could do a slider. Yeah. I'm probably gonna have to look this up a little bit, but we could implement a slider that, or a range widget to showcase the range of a year, basically.
Yeah. I mean, the other interesting thing could be figure out what our years are, get our epic boundaries, and then do a drop down, right? Where the injection is, but I don't know what makes more sense. What makes more sense here?
I mean, I know long term what makes more sense, but I guess we have to do the hard way first, right?
Yeah.
All right. So let's see. Algolia range widget instant search. I never keep these things in my head. I gotta go find them in our documentation. All right, so we have a widget which also should have a React component that goes alongside it. Awesome. So let's see if there's a smaller version here. Yeah. So in our app up here, instead of the refinement list date, we're going to do a range input with the date. And we're going to need to require that. Or not, sorry, import it.
Range input.
Range input. All sorts of words were in my head just then.
Yeah.
Require.
As soon as you
import,
said require, I knew.
It was game over, really. All right. So let's get rid of the cities real fast, because that's just fogging up my brain a little bit. All right. So we have a range input.
Cool. Look at those beautiful dates.
Yeah.
And you can even increment them. Look at that.
Let's
1 second at a time.
One. Increment by a few. Copy this, paste it over here, and that's the wrong way. Increment. Nothing within these few seconds.
Dang it.
So
missed it.
Let's look up 2018, right? Epic
2018.
Times January 1st, 2018. That's I love propaganda. All right. Unix Epic time
converter.
Let's just get the converter.
Yeah. Let's
Epic
just
times it's an interesting thing. Anyway. All right. I want to go from human to epic. So this is 0101 2018 at 0. Invalid hour. 24-hour clock.
So make it 001. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
No.
See, dates and times are hard.
They really are. Epic dates for the start and end of the year, month, day. There you go.
There we are. So we want 2018, right? All right. So start of the year 2018 into our concerts. So start of 2018 through the end of 2018. The wrong thing over and over again.
That's concerning.
Start of the year. Let's copy and paste again. Make sure we're okay there. Start of the year, end of the year.
Value must be greater than or equal to. Interesting.
Hold on. What's it? I think this is too short. I think I need 3 more zeros. Or is that milliseconds? All this to say, this is probably not the way you want to do things.
Yep.
And we have
epic seconds are hard to deal with.
Yep.
I'm going to look at date formats.
There we go. Yep. I just add 3 zeros.
Oh, so it just truncated it.
Yeah. And here we have all of our
shows.
All of our shows. So from here, I can, if I have access and if we have it set up, and I don't think that we do in the latency data set, I could have a sort by, and I could do a sort by on these and have it be reverse chronological to do that. But I don't have access to that. So I have to figure out a different way of handling this. So I could go back and figure out, all right, actually we also need to see Coldplay, right? Coldplay. So I can look here, and I've already done enough work here that I have my answer.
Yeah. Well done.
Thank you. In Paris, which, hey, French company, and in November. But I don't want to be done because this doesn't feel good to me.
Nope.
This feels really like the point of all of this is for Santa, and Santa's not a technical person. He's an elf that's millennia old, thousands of years old, maybe. I don't know, centuries old at least, probably millennia old. He hasn't learned new technology.
Yeah. Plus, you've
So let's
basically
make
just built a UX for our evil AI overlords, not for humans
not for humans. So
or
let's make this a
elves.
little bit better. Now, I could make a date picker, right? I could go in, handcraft it in React, go find it in React, and then figure out a way to plug it into Instant Search. That's all fully possible. Spoiler alert, we're not going to do that. But one
Nope.
things you can do is you can create custom widgets inside of Instant Search.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Let me look up React. Let's just do Instant Search for Android. Sure. Let's see. I probably should have looked up custom widget, huh? Places, facets, drop down. There we go. Custom widgets. And so you can come in, you can basically, this is in Angular, it looks like, and basically create a new widget out of the box, right? So you can make this however it needs to be. I'm not going to do that. I'm about the laziest dev you're going to find. And so I'm going to go to Algolia's code exchange because we don't have a date picker out of the box, but I bet somewhere in the code exchange, we have a way of doing dates. And so I'm just going to look up the word date in our code exchange. You can see here we do have a UI component for the date range picker. And it does have this little React icon, but if I needed to, I could also come in and find it in our frameworks, right? I could say, only show me React. And I can get this date range picker. So let's take a look at this. This is the Algolia. It's an official Algolia one. React Instant Search Widget Date Range Picker.
Right. And for folks that aren't familiar with the code exchange, like there's everything in there from like these individual widgets all the way up to like full blown solutions for like we actually did a walkthrough on a recommendation showcase for sending out recommendation emails, right? Essentially where you would go and say, hey, you bought a pair of shoes. Wouldn't you like this nice pair of socks to go with it? Kind of thing.
Of course you would.
Mhm.
Especially if they're themed socks. So yeah, so what we can do is we can actually install this via npm, and we have all the instructions on this repo. So let's go ahead and do that. Install that and go ahead and get other boilerplate that we need. So then we're going to actually pick up the date range picker from Algolia React Instant Search Widget Date Range Picker. And you can, again, make these custom and make these for yourself for whatever implementation needs you've got. So import date range picker from Algolia.
Hey, Brian.
Yes.
I'll buy you a coffee if you close the file bar on the side of your VS Code. Yeah,
Easiest
I owe you
coffee
a coffee
I've ever earned. So I close it sometimes, and usually, in fact, it's not this wide. I don't know why it's this wide right now, but typically I would keep it like this, and I like to see where I'm at.
I totally get it. Totally get it. Yeah, maybe I should have just asked you to narrow it, but
nah, it can be closed. It's unnecessary because all we're doing is modifying this file.
You get a coffee,
and I get a coffee. Excellent news. For that point that we meet midway between our two cities in the Midwest.
Oh yeah.
All right, so let's see. We already have a search client. We don't really need to worry about the attribute because we already have that. We know what that is. And then, yeah, we should just be able to date range picker for a specific attribute. And let's see if it is, in fact, that easy. So instead of our range input, and let's keep the range input, and we can compare and contrast, right? We want the attribute to equal date. Get rid of that curly brace. And theoretically, I bet we have an error, but because I'm running it in the background here, we don't get to see it. Refinement list is defined, but never used. I don't care about that. That's fine. That's just a warning anyway.
Hmm.
All right. So what seems to be our issue here? Date range picker, attribute date. We did save it. Let's see. Where did code exchange? Here we go. All right. Let's actually read instead of just copying and pasting. Name the attribute for faceting. Sure. And then date picker props, which we shouldn't need. The fun thing is we did this yesterday. This worked yesterday.
It
I
sure
tested
did.
it.
And did
All right.
so you've got you ran the install. You've got the.
Yep. Let's double check. Let me open up my files again.
Yeah, check it out.
Double
there,
check
man.
that it is.
I don't see it.
Oh, here it is. Yeah. Just super early.
Okay, got it.
So
Way
it
at the
is
top.
there. All right. And let's see. It is true that we're not using a refinement list, which is interesting, but I guess we're not anymore. Let's get rid of that warning, see if there's anything else that we get. Let's go ahead and build this in VS Code so we've got it.
Yeah.
Yarn start. Oh, yeah, that's fine. We knew that. That's not an error. That's the fact that I'm running too many things at the same time. Starting development server at 3001.
It's okay. That's why we've got so many ports, right?
Exactly. Let's see, concerts. All right, let's take a look at the console here. No errors. Okay, well, that's interesting. So to me, that's saying that it's not making it to my build. Search panel filters. Well, but we have date range picker. Okay.
Somehow just hidden.
And it does have 2007 through 2019, which is, I believe, what we've got. Yeah, why is it being hidden? Because it has 0 height and width. Fun.
Invisible.
It is invisible.
Date picker.
So not there. Okay. Real fast. Let's also take a look. Maybe we're doing something wrong, and we do have a demo of this inside of Code Sandbox. And let's take a look at how it's implemented here. Using latency, using a search, we've got, it's not from.
Oh, they're doing it local from, okay.
Yeah. And then, okay, so date range picker. And then, oh, I bet, let's see. Nope. Okay. We have it in the object. It's not a default. And then we come down, we have our search box and we have our date range picker, and all it has is an attribute. It does have a string for an attribute, and that's what we've got.
Let's see yours again.
Hold on one more second before we do that. That's that.
Search
I was looking to see if there were any like CSS issues coming in there. All right, so we are importing date range picker from that. Let's see.
Wasn't there something about, I saw something in the README about it's built on top of another date picker, and
that
maybe
should.
Oh, but
it
because
should
we're
be
not
built
because
in.
we're not doing it locally, it should theoretically pick them both up. But I wonder if maybe we need to explicitly say that we need the, there it is, the widget is using this.
Yeah, we shouldn't have to, but you know, stranger things have happened, right? Oh,
yeah.
All right. All right. So we will, just in case, npm install that. Although, you know what I'm also doing is I'm running npm install, and I'm not running.
Oh, you're running yarn. Yeah,
I don't use yarn.
yeah, you're not doing
I
yarn
typically
add.
use npm. But after you have your dependencies, I bet, although we weren't getting an error, so that's,
yeah,
I'm not too sure about that.
I do.
We'll try to
I have that same challenge. So I'm running on a poor little me. I'm running on an M1 processor. And so like I'm a big yarn fan, but I've found that some of the pre-built packages in Yarn are just not ready for M1s yet, and so I find myself falling back to NPM just because it can build a lot easier. For whatever reason, I don't know. Maybe it's a personal failing, but I find that I can get more stuff to build under NPM than under Yarn.
I'm just gonna. Oh, interesting. Interesting. All right. Well, we'll wait for Yarn to build over here because that'll be better.
Go Yarny.
The fun thing is, like streaming my camera and my screen, no big deal for my non M1 Mac.
Mm-hmm.
But now that Yarn's installing,
you're getting them. Your bangs are blowing a little there. Yeah.
Aha. Oh, yep, same thing. I keep seeing that warning there and thinking it's an error. I'm like, aha, we have an error finally. Errors are good. But no, it's just wanting me to run it on a different port.
And now, of course, we've done two things. So if it does work, which one solved it?
Just change all the things at the same time.
Yeah. That's okay. It's still broken.
Yeah. This is very strange.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next thing we're going to check between the default, we need the demo, and what we have is we'll check versions of things.
Do you need styling for date range picker for the class?
You know, that's a fair question.
Maybe we can steal some from the code sandbox if they've got them.
Well, let's take a look. We shouldn't, right? It should just come in, especially since it's got accessibility. It's one of the things that it's going for there. It should just kind of come in there. But yeah, that is one thing that we can look at in the demo.
Oh, you don't have it in a class. My bad. I was looking at the sandbox code. My apologies.
Let's see.
So that in a class there, right?
Nope. Here it is. Yeah, unfortunately, that would have been helpful. Date range picker.
My bad. I thought I saw it in a class.
Let's see. So now I'm wondering what we can do to fix this. Let's see. All right. So let's look at our files. And let's look at our dependencies. And all right. I guess that's not going to be helpful for us because they're actually building it in here.
I almost want to just build an interface that's just the date range picker, right? And just see if we can get it to show up and then rebuild out from there.
I mean, let's at least get rid of that. Let's see what that does.
Okay, well, now we've got nothing. That's cool.
Yeah. Now, in fairness, we have like the DOM is rendering that. Like it exists. Just go crazy here. Okay, that didn't help because this is still 0. Duet date picker with a min and a max. Let's go. Do I have React DevTools installed here somewhere? I bet I do. I bet it's just not activated. Let's see. Oh no, it's in one of my other, hold on. Let's go, let me open this up in a different browser real fast. So we can have DevTools. See a little better about what's happening here. I believe I have React DevTools in here. Oh no, I don't. But I do have it installed at least. Okay, that's fine. That's that same warning we were getting before. So let's go into components, instant search, got the context wrapper. So we have all the stuff that we need, all of its props. We have its min and its max, which is being populated from our data, I'm relatively sure. And I think, let's see. I am flummoxed, to be perfectly honest. Not gonna lie. I can't see screen right now.
I'm cracking open that code sandbox over here just to take a look at it myself.
Yeah. So let's do this. Let's do duet, date range, picker, not displaying.
I mean, so the one thing that we are doing different still, right, is the code sandbox is loading locally
True.
from the
That
source
is true.
directory. That is one other thing we could try, is just for giggles, you could see if the locally installed version worked better.
True. All right. So we need some files. Let me see here. Oh, well, I mean, okay, okay, here we go. This is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
This shouldn't be a problem. We should not have this as a problem, but let's see. Yeah, we got a whole bunch of stuff in here. Hold on. Do I have any CSS files in this? I do. The right. Oop. Awesome. Grabbed a little too much probably from that.
Is that the hit stuff?
Yeah, let's see. We just want date range picker. Although most of this shouldn't be affecting much of anything. I mean, it's got some flex stuff going on, which might help. I don't really want all of these classes on that. All right.
You know what I love? That, as much trouble as this particular widget is giving us to paint,
Yeah.
it's still easier than writing our own date picker from scratch.
not wrong in that.
I'm still
right.
nowhere near like, I should just write this myself. That's for sure.
So we've got 2 columns.
Okay.
That's what we want. That's how things look in here. Let's see what other classes we might need here.
What was that other date picker specific CSS?
That's
Anything
a good
interesting in there?
question. Let's grab all this.
Yeah. This looks like it's the duet stuff.
Yeah, still nothing.
Hmm.
We do have all that. You can see here all of our custom properties are being set there. But most of them looking at, it's like font stuff. We've got radius, we've got button colors. Right now we're just not rendering anything additional in the DOM.
This is a picky picker.
This is a very picky picker. Let's see. All right. So what else are we? What else is missing between these implementations?
Well, again, there's the local loading as opposed to using the add Algolia version.
That is a difference. All right. So we need in the source.
And I think I do think my loading duet directly was a red herring. So if you want to pull that out, I wouldn't argue with you.
Well, let me see if I can see if
matter.
this works. No, that doesn't work. Oh well. But what we're going to do is we're going to go to, let's see, here, and let's grab all of this.
Just run this one locally, see how it works.
Oh, I wasn't even thinking that, but git clone that. And then open and open that. And oh no, there we go. Okay, cool. We want to bring over into our concerts, into our source. Let's bring this over. This is going to end poorly, I can almost assure you. And then we're going to call this what? Picker. And then we need to change where we're importing this from. So this is instead of from all of this, we're going to import it from where we are here. Can't resolve that. Okay. I mean, it might be because it's trying to be TypeScript and I don't have anything except to build that.
Oh.
Concerts. Why is it looking? Oh, inside of concert source. Yeah, which is where we are. So that's, yeah, it's not gonna be able to run this because it's not set up to build TypeScript. I think.
So here's never.
Bring it.
Okay. You've brought down a local version of that code sandbox, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which has a functional date picker and is able to display records from an index.
Yes.
Any index.
Oh, Chuck.
Hey, you told me to bring it.
You done brought it. CD into React instance search date picker.
Just to see if it works.
Because the other thing that could be happening here, and again, it'd be good to have an error around it. If the dates aren't formatted like it expects it for some reason, that could also be a problem. But let's see.
Because as we've said, dates are hard.
Yep. Assuming I need to run this with Yarn, but let's see.
This, I mean, and what made me think this was you were like, oh, this project isn't set up for compiling TypeScript. And I'm like, well, that one certainly is, right? I'm sure that one's got the right scripts.
One other thing. Because I come from npm world, not Yarn world, let's just double check that I didn't need to run this instead. Again, though, like all this is running, right? Like the date picker is technically running.
Yeah. It's just not rendering.
Let's see. All right. This is installed. So let's yarn start. This is also running Vite, which is a more up-to-date way of doing things. Localhost.
Oh, cool.
Somehow this is 3000. So this is probably fail to resolve import source from example into. Does this file exist? It should exist. Oh no, I moved it. Hold on. I didn't copy. I should have copied.
Oh, you moved it out. Got it.
Yep. So this becomes source again. Sorry, Vite. Let's try this again.
How is it able to run on 3000? Oh no, this is your wines. This is your wines still.
There, yeah. Okay, so let's see where I've got that open.
It thinks it's running on 3000 though. That's the interesting thing.
What's the command? This isn't how this works.
I don't know if you can kill a port.
No,
you have to know the process.
Different thing. Yeah, there's a way of doing it, and I always lose it, and I never find it when I need it. But there's.
Is it just running Node? Could you just find Node processes?
Maybe. All right. I don't want to use Fuser. I don't know what Fuser is. Thank you very much.
Clearing a port on macOS.
I think it's a variation on this. Oh no. Oh, it would help if I put in 3000, right? Then we can run kill that, kill that, kill. Oh no, I disappeared for a second, didn't I? I'm back.
Oh.
I see there's a little Wi-Fi meter thing inside of StreamYard, and it shows an unhappy number.
Somehow StreamYard was on your port.
Yep. All right. So here we have that working version of the code sandbox.
Okay.
So
and these are the date pickers, and they're beautiful.
Yep. I should be able to come into example and into index.typescript, and we can change these things out. So let's go side by side. And let's see, Algolia search, latency either way, but here's the new search.
Right. So this all runs within
API.
the same application. It's just different indices.
And the search client is now built, and we need a new index. So that is in tiny places here. Instant search.
There it is.
Index name. So this is going to do some wonky stuff, I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, the formatting is going to be hysterical, but. And then the one thing we just got to make sure is that the attributes are appropriately named.
Yeah. Okay, so can't read user. So yeah, so there's a lot of things to change out here. So date is fine, hit is fine, pagination. We need to go up to the hit, and we're going to change
Probably a
out.
hit template somewhere. Oh yeah, there it is.
Name is fine. Oh, we don't actually want an image at all. We don't want a user image at all. So we don't need this picture wrapper at all.
This is the sculpting, right? Rather than painting our code, we're sculpting. It's removing negative space.
I've got a pick over here. We don't need this at all.
And then once we get this working, we'll go back and
recap.
We'll figure out what's
location, date. Why not? And good.
Yudi, do you mean what is our theme on, like, visually for our streaming, or what is the theme for today? The theme for today that we're talking about is we're again in the Algolia coding contest, which we can put the link up again for you. It's a series of challenges around building different UIs for search. And we're in challenge number 5 today, which is all around dates and date pickers and the fact that Algolia stores dates in epoch seconds. And we're trying to figure out kind of a nice, clean way to sort of show those dates within a UI that's presentable to humans, as opposed to, our AI overlords that will one day dominate us. So that's sort of where we are today. Algolia, we have an instant search library with a lot of really good widgets for doing search. It does not include, by default, a date picker. But we do have a date picker that sort of overlays on top of it. And so that is kind of where we are now, is basically we're putting a date picker into our search here. Yep. So hopefully that answers your question. If you're asking more about the streaming theme, that's a whole nother topic. But we're going to try and knock this out here.
So yeah, so we've got Coldplay. We've got all the Coldplay concerts, and we're looking for 2018 concerts. So we'll start and just say January through December of 2018. And that gives us 2. And as we had in our other one, we can come into our hit template. And instead of this, why don't we do hit dot date. We got those epic seconds again. So let's get our formatting from the other one real fast.
Oh yeah.
So our date from our hit is going to be where?
Is that in the hit template?
There it is. Yeah, it's in the hit template. So human date is what I called it. Minimize that. So in our hit template here, human date is going to be off of the hit.date to locale string. And this becomes human date. There's our human date.
Boom.
Of course, every time we save something, we lose all of our state. So again, January through, didn't save. 2018, January 1st through December 2018, 31st. And then look for Coldplay. And that brings us down to 2. And we've got 1 in January and we've got 1 in November. So again, the location is Paris, France on 11/24/2018.
Nice. Nice. And again, the reason we can't sort these by date order is because we're using a hosted version of this index
Yep.
that's hosted by Algolia as opposed to doing it ourselves, which means we don't have access to tweak this configuration settings. If we were hosting this ourselves, we could go in, we could change the sort order to be by date, and then we would have them kind of in a nice clean date order here.
Exactly.
Brian, this looks
And really,
awesome.
we are currently accidentally sorted in that way, but
Hmm.
that's more by accident. I'm pretty sure on that.
Yeah. So this is great. We've got a date picker in here. Any conjectures as to why this one's working? I feel like you were really, I think you were starting to go the right direction when you started realizing about TypeScript. I wonder if maybe that was a piece of it.
It shouldn't be
Mhm.
for how that was. Maybe we'll do some prepping in the new year. We'll do a revamped on this one and just showcase the date picker as a whole and get that up and running. I'm not entirely sure what's going on with it, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, it sure doesn't
Types
look that different code-wise.
No, and the big difference is the fact that one is in the is npm installed and might be a completely different version, to be honest.
Mhm.
Um, this might be an older version. I don't know. Again, I need to do some research and dive into it a little bit deeper to figure out exactly what's causing the issue on this one. Um, let's see, because yeah, the actual hold on. Okay, no, for a second I was like, "Oh no, am I using human date instead of the date for it?" But no, that's in a different area.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, not not sure. It should just be working out of the box on that. Again, we'll dig into that and figure out what's going on here. And
Once again, we came in right under the wire, though. We've got
yeah,
a
exactly.
we've got a functional interface we can give to Santa.
Yep.
Santa can find his information here, which is
And in fairness, we had a non-human way of doing it 30 minutes in. So we solved the bonus question pretty early on.
oh
Uh,
yeah,
but we wanted to go the extra mile and give Santa the better experience.
yeah. If I had epoch seconds on my watch, we would have been golden then.
Done.
Yeah,
Yep.
right on.
Yep.
But I think you have definitely demonstrated why you didn't want to do this particular challenge today, why dates are hard. Even tools around dates can be a little bit of a challenge. But if you are building a UX for your folks using Algolia, I think that using this widget, it's an interesting way to kind of get in and start doing some date ranges and some
Yep.
interesting date pickers. I mean, the
In a
nice thing
lot
is
of different applications, date ranges are
Mhm.
important. So
and it's built on top of sort of a standard date picker too, which is nice. So you don't have to worry about like, oh, did it take into account the atomic second or whatever crazy thing this happens with dates?
so yeah.
Cool, Brian. I don't know if I'm going to see you again before the new year, man. So
I believe you and I will see each other again before the new year, but I don't believe we will see each other in front of a live studio
mhm.
audience again before the new year.
No,
So yeah, happy holidays, my friend.
happy holidays to all the folks out there watching this or watching this next week as you're closing down your year and looking for things to do.
Yep.
You still have until December 19th to submit your answers for the coding challenge.
Time's
Um,
moving.
yeah, yeah.
Win that iPhone, win that Samsung.
Oh yeah, definitely. And again, if you sign up, you can meet us over on the Discord channel, which
Yep.
is the Discord server. We have a code challenge channel where we can talk about some of the other questions or what we did today, any of that stuff.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thanks for
Happy
tuning in
holidays.
and we'll see
Thanks,
you in the
Ruben.
new year.
See you. Bye.